agent in Clinton. My guest in studio is Mr. Jerry Wayne, principal of Clinton High School. Good morning, Mr. Wayne.
Good morning, Seth. How are we doing?
Good. How's your summer going?
It's been busy, but it's been good.
Yeah. What have you been doing this summer? I couldn't it's been such a quiet summer.
It really has, no projects or anything going on. The building's been keeping us pretty busy with all the projects and things, and hiring I had 6 new staff that I had to hire. So that was a bit of a challenge.
Wow.
You had 4 of them that retired and 2 that got jobs at another location that were more either closer to home or matching more what they were kind of looking for. So it's been a busy summer, but it was always good to use that time to look at new things that are going to happen within the building and then recharge yourself.
Well, the changes. I love the gym floor. Gym floor is awesome. If folks haven't seen it, I don't know if you put it on social media. We've got some pictures on our website. Check it out. It is so awesome.
Yeah, Matt and I are pretty excited about that. That one was it really is Matt's baby more than anything, because when it came to the floor, he goes, I just want it to be different. I don't want it to be your natural stuff. And so he and I kind of worked a little bit together with the guys that do the repainting of the gym floor. He said Stalker Flooring, who does that, came to us and said, I got some ideas that I'd like to do that not a lot of people will let me do, especially in Illinois. They'll do it in Wisconsin.
Really?
And they mentioned it a little bit, and he invited us actually up to Wisconsin to see some schools that they'd done it with, and he and I both loved the way that it looked. It's definitely is a kind of a one of a kind thing in and around, at least in this area. It doesn't mean it's not anywhere else in Illinois, but so we were excited and said, yeah, let's work with this and let's see if we can make this happen. And I think it does a great job of tying really everything in together. It's got our school colors in it. It sets itself apart. And so we're pretty excited about the way the gym looks as a whole, both the floors and the bleachers.
Well, my thinking would probably be like the way the color fades a little bit from bold to kind of a lighter color. Mm-hmm. I think that might be what maybe other schools don't want to do, or the big C in the middle. I don't know.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The fading that you described is exactly what it is. He said, I just can't get Illinois schools don't seem to want to do that.
No kidding.
And I thought it looked really awesome to have that. It just is unique. It's not, you walk in and you think you see every other gym floor kind of looks the same, and it just sets itself apart to be able to have that happening, whether you're talking about the boundary lines or whether you're talking about in the free throw lane. I think it looks really sharp in that way. And then
what's going to happen is you're going to have schools come to Clinton and see it, and they're going to be like, oh, that is cool. And then they're going to
copy it.
The next time they have to redo their gym floor, they're going to do it, Mr.
That's
Wayne.
Correct. But what'll happen then is that means that the next time we're going to be the trendsetters again, say, okay, what else? What can we do different?
I've got ideas.
It's years from now. Obviously, we're not looking at trying to change it. We just got it done, get it done in a year. But about every 8 to 10 years, I think, is what we have to redo that whole floor.
Oh, you and Mr. Keppel will be long gone. Not like gone, but like
Mr. Keppel will
be retired.
I will be retired, but Mr. Keppel will still be there.
By the way, your retirement, what in the world?
What?
Why are you retiring?
I'm an old man. I'm an old man. I'll be 33 years of teaching at that point.
I thought you were going to say you'll be 33 years old.
Yeah, no, I'll be 55 at that point in time, and
you've got 5-10 good years to give kids, Mr. Wayne.
In all honesty, there's probably some truth to that, but I will also tell you that there comes a time where there needs to be a new voice and a new thought and idea. I won't be far away from school. My son tells me all the time, he goes, I know, Dad, you're retiring at 55, but you won't stay away. And I don't think that there's any way I will. I love working with kids. I love being a part of helping them figure out who they are and what kind of a difference they want to make in their lives and everyone else's lives and in the world. And so, I don't anticipate, even though 4 years, it seems like a long ways away, but it's also going to end up go pretty quick. I'm aware of that. But at the end of that 4 years, I'll still be very much invested in this school, this community, everything about it. So, it won't be I'm gone forever, but it'll be time for somebody new to be able to step in and be that voice.
Well, fine. Those are good reasons.
Sorry, Seth.
I mean, I guess I'll give you the stamp of approval.
You know what, Seth? Maybe I'll just come and be work with you here in
WHOW.
WHOW.
Would you really?
Maybe.
Will you do some ball games with us?
Sure.
Nice.
When I get retired, I'll be more than happy.
Let's
to
do it.
Say,
oh
let's
man,
make it
Mr.
happen.
Wayne, that's going to be so awesome.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Well, let's stop talking about 4 years down the road and talk about this summer because not only does the gym floor look really cool, I only got a glimpse of like the deconstructed kitchen. I haven't seen the thing put together yet, but it looks like it's going to be real nice. What's going on there?
Well, see, it is going to be very nice. I don't think I realized going into it just exactly the enormity of all that they were going to be doing. For whatever reason, I didn't picture that we were literally going to be to dirt floors. I mean, every bit of concrete that was made up for within that kitchen area had to be torn out, put in new grease traps and everything else that goes into it. It was definitely time. I know it was a lot of money that was unfortunately had to be spent, but it was well past due needing to be done. But it is really starting to come together. You know, we talked about this. I think maybe even at the end of the school year, we got together and talked about the projects that were going to be going on, and the projects have moved along fantastically. The people that have worked, regardless of what it was, whether we're talking about the gym floor, whether we're talking about the kitchen, whether we're talking about the new blacktop around the building. Every project that went on, the people that came and worked were fantastic. Number one, working extremely hard, but also very kind and were willing to answer questions that would come on because I was a little bit of a pain. Just simply wanted to know where are we? What's kind of going on? What are we thinking as far as timeline? The kitchen we knew was going to be tough. It's going to be right up to the very edge. We're still not sure it'll be exactly all the way done and ready to go. We were fully prepared that would likely have to happen. It looks like maybe they'll have the majority of it done maybe today, but probably Monday or Tuesday. But then we have to have the regional office of education come in and give the stamp of approval to say, okay, you're good to go and it can be used. So it's going to be some touch and go stuff. I
envision like them like pulling out the last like throwing the last dustpan of garbage in the garbage and like you've got the suit and tie people right there ready to inspect it. Like I envision that just being the case on Tuesday.
It very well may be, and we're prepared. We're going to be letting parents know they're going to get an email from me later on, probably on Monday, that just simply says, listen, we're going to still be able to provide lunches. Kids are going to have lunches. It's going to be grab and go probably for the first week, maybe a little bit more depending on how everything goes. But when it gets finished, we're very excited about it. It looks really good back there. It's going to make for a much more efficient way of being able to manage the things that they need to back there. We're just excited.
What was wrong with the old kitchen?
It was very much dated. It was chopped up in a way that didn't make the flow work very well. A lot of the components that they use for cooking were regularly breaking down. And probably the biggest thing is the fridge and freezer section was failing. And of course, when that goes, you don't have any other options. And so what we have at that point in time would have just simply been a box that can't cool and can't be used for anything other than dry storage, which creates bigger issues as far as the notion of cooking, obviously all the meals and things that you're going to end up needing. So, it was built in 1970, and I'm pretty sure 1970 or 71, and I'm pretty sure that components that were in there were original. Like it has gotten its money's worth out of the time, and it was just time that it just needed to be upgraded and updated.
Gotcha. So sending out notification to parents on probably the situation next week and look to move on from there.
Yeah, they're going to get one for me today, just as a reminder that, hey, school's starting back up. That should be going out here actually probably in about the next 15 or 20 minutes through Skyward. And then on Monday, I wanted to wait until Monday to see if anything else changed, but I've kind of created the message as far as the lunches and stuff are concerned for them on Monday. So hopefully they'll be looking for that in both either their email or their Skyward family access.
Sure. So we did gym, we did kitchen, we did parking lots. Yep. Anything else?
I believe currently that covers the three major things that we did as far as within the building, and then your normal maintenance. Our maintenance crew has been fantastic over the summer with trying to do to take care of those kinds of things. I guess I should mention the sign that we have on the side of the building.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
I'm really excited about that. That was a project that Matt and I worked together towards trying to get done. That side of that building is just a blank space that we wanted something that was going to speak highly of our school and our district that was kind of different than what anybody else did. We get, because of the contract that we have with Pepsi, they donate some money towards our school to be able to utilize in whatever way that we want. And so we've been saving that over time. And that's where a significant portion of the money that was used to be able to put that sign up was going to end up being. And so we kind of,
I know that's been caused a lot of stir about where the cost of that come from and everything.
Yeah. So that's something that's important for you to realize, is that a lot of that, a good amount of that money that was spent on that sign is coming from money that's not directly tied to taxes. It's tied to an agreement for Pepsi, who provides us with the pop that we provide for all of our concessions and everything, that we get an annual amount of money. We've been saving that up for a project like this. And so we're pretty excited about how it turned out. It was a big project because it's a giant sign, but we wanted it to be something that was not like what others have. Some opportunities. We do a lot of different things, lighted up ceremony or thing for cross country is a big deal. That's different than any other people do. We wanted to have an opportunity. We knew that if we were going to put a sign up there, it was going to be lit. We wanted to really have that opportunity to be able to change the colors of the lights on the back, in large part because we think about, and hopefully this won't ever happen again. We hope and pray that no school has to go through it, but you get those moments where unfortunately we lose a child. And other schools lose a child. And so one of the things we thought, well, if we're going to do this and we're going to light it, can we make it so that we can change colors for example, so that we can show support for those schools that might have an unfortunate loss even. Obviously we want to use it for celebration stuff, but also be an ability to be able to show that support for those schools when those kinds of things happen. So I hope that the community is proud of the way that it looks. We worked very hard to try to come up with it. I know that the A was another element where people were looking at it, and we also were not overly excited about it, but hopefully people trust Matt and I enough that we're not going to settle for, something that doesn't quite look right. It's in the process of being addressed right now. And we're hoping that that'll be back up here in the next week or so. If people go by and see it, they're going to see that an M and the A is gone. That's because those are connected letters. And so that had to be taken down so that they can work on trying to fix it for the way that we want it. And then we'll put it back up. So
we're not the Arnoons or whatever.
No, we are not. We're not the Runes.
The Runes.
We're not the Runes. We will be back to
kind of a catchy little nickname, though.
It kind of is, So it'll be back up, and like I said, we're very proud of the way that it looks, and are excited about just again trying to put out that pride, trying to put out so that people recognize who we are and the kind of separating us from some others.
For sure. Mr. Wayne, where do folks go to keep up with some of these things? Are you putting stuff out on social media?
Matt does a great job of putting that out there on the CHS Athletics. I don't really do a whole lot of social media stuff, which I probably should do a little bit more of, but Matt does a really good job of trying to get that out there on the athletics page. And then we try to get as much as we can out on the district Facebook page. That
is Mr. Jerry Wayne, principal of Clinton High School, my guest in studio. More to come with him on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW. Bureau YouTube channel.
Let's check the markets on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLawes Yonke. Pre-report trading awfully quiet for corn. September's up 0.75 cents, 4.84. December up 0.5, 4.96 3/4. March down 0.5, 5.09 1/2. September soybeans are down 10 3/4, 13.41 1/4. November down 5 1/2, 13.12 3/4. January down 8, 13.20 1/4. September wheat down 2 1/2, 6.35 1/4. KC down 4 1/4, 7.62 3/4. Livestock, October lean hogs up 17, 80.50. October live cattle down 15, 182.37. September feeders up a nickel, 251.62. Crude up 62, 83.44. This is the RFD Radio Network.
At Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton or Farmer City, our job is to help you solve your transportation needs. This is Scott Baum, both in Clinton or Farmer City. We'll listen and find options if you need a different used car or truck, or we'll give you repair options to keep your car, truck, or SUV safe and trouble-free so you can continue with your busy schedule. If it has to do with transportation, we're here to help. Visit our full-service team today at Clinton or Farmer City. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
Here are the contest rules for WHOW and WEZC Radio. We allow only one winner of any prize from either station per household in a 30-day period. Prizes can be picked up by the winner at our studios inside the Big Red Barn, 4 miles south of Clinton on U.S. Highway 51 within 2 weeks of winning. Our office hours are weekdays from 8 till 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Employees of WHOW, WEZC, and their families are not allowed to participate in our contests. Thanks for participating and for listening to WHOW and WEZC.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today is Mr. Jerry Wayne, principal of Clinton High School. Mr. Wayne, we get back to school on Wednesday. What's the start of school look like for your kids?
I think we're good to go. I think it's it's always it's an anxious time of year and an exciting time of year all at the same time for, I'm sure, the kids, but definitely for staff and administration as well. We feel like we're in a pretty good spot. Unfortunately, every year trying to fill positions is always going to be a challenge. Unfortunately, this year I've not been able to fill a Spanish position that we have that has opened up. I know that we had a Spanish teacher last year who is still in the district, but she made it very clear that she was, from a teaching standpoint, it just wasn't what she wanted to do anymore. And so she was going to leave us, but wanted to stay within the district and to provide supports for our Spanish speaking population and our teachers who might have some challenges with those. And so she's, thankfully, I think the right thing that we did is with our influx of the amount of individuals who are coming to us who have limited English speaking ability, we still have her as a part of the district helping in that way, but that didn't open up a spot where I had to try to find a Spanish teacher. And I don't know if people are familiar or not, but there's just not a lot of, quite frankly, foreign language teachers, period. But especially from a Spanish perspective,
Sure.
Put in the effort. We try to make sure that we try to find somebody. It's really important for me also when I do my hires that I find the right people that are the right fit. And that doesn't mean the people that I might talk with aren't great teachers. I need them to be what is best for our kids.
How do you know that in an interview process?
It's tough. It really is tough. You have to ask a lot of questions that get at not just the content, but also the person that you are. I'm a firm believer that our kids need people that understand that school is very important, but it's also not the end all be all, and that they need people that care about who they are as individuals and help to learn who they are and how can we help them to grow to be the best version of them that they can be. And every person who goes into education has some of that in them. But I have to find people that I feel like in my gut that is a core value of what they have. And it's tough to figure out in an interview process, but from a Spanish perspective, there's just not a lot of them out there. And unfortunately, we're starting this year and I just don't have Spanish teachers. And I'm fortunate that I have Joe Scanavino, who is teaching German, and he has a full load of German classes. He could have taught some Spanish, but because we already full in German, what we're going to have to do is our kids are going to have, some of them are going to be able to get into German classes until they're completely full, which we're very close, and we're very close when we started. And then unfortunately, some of them are just going to have to be able to take some other electives right now. I will continue to search for that Spanish teacher. And with my goal being to get one as soon as we possibly can, but it's going to make it pretty tough for us to even consider anything unless something happens in the next couple of days to consider being able to unfortunately offer Spanish this year. And so my goal will be to get that the next time I can. But it's just tough. And I think that's one of the interesting parts is, and I don't know how much people watch and pay attention necessarily to what requirements the legislature have put in place for down the road, but I believe it's in 28-29, or it's either 27-28 or 28-29, that they have currently put in place for a student to graduate high school. They have to have 2 years of a foreign language. And that sounds well and good. And I understand that there's some value to that. But number one, from my perspective, let's start with the fact that I'm in a position where I need a Spanish teacher and I can't find one, period. So you're going to put schools in a position where they have to offer or have to provide that foreign language requirement for graduation, but you don't have the staffing that can allow that to happen. So it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. And I'm hoping that our legislators will recognize that that's a bit of a problem and either have a solution for it or recognize that maybe that's not a good requirement for Illinois public schools to have for a kid to be able to get a high school diploma.
You're asking lawmakers to backtrack on themselves, and that just never ends well.
Well, you hope that at some point in time that they'll at least recognize that, okay, maybe wasn't the best route, even though it was with maybe good intentions, that's really not a very reasonable thing to ask schools to do, instead of just providing them with, hey, this is it and figure it out. Because the figure it out doesn't, a lot of times we can figure some stuff out. I mean, we could get pretty creative, but the sheer lack of availability doesn't allow for a whole lot of figuring out to be able to happen very well. Not and provide our kids with a quality education.
Yeah.
You know, you can, the argument will probably be, in all honesty, and again, thankfully I'll be retired by then, but the argument will probably be, well, we'll just offer it through online. And that sounds really good, but high school kids are not really in general built for online. There are some that can be very successful with it, but the general rule is it's not in their best interest to have that as their result. So we'll see where that goes. Hopefully there's at least some discussion and some other ideas that will happen. But again, unfortunately for this year, I don't even have the ability to offer Spanish.
Yeah, quite the ripple effect on that one.
It really is, because it then impacts every other class that we offer out there. And the kids, unfortunately, they go in thinking they're going to end up having this as their class schedule, and they find out early, at the start of the year, that unfortunately we're going to have to shift gears. And the kids that have been in and have gotten their schedules changed already, and their families have been really good. They're frustrated, obviously, as we are as well, but they're really good, have been really good about trying to work together. And again, I assure you, I'm going to work really hard to try to find a Spanish teacher. We've got some people that were potentially student teachers that are happening mid-year that we're going to try to reach out to and get. But again, we're not alone. There's at least 5 or 6 schools in this area that are in the same situation we are. We're fighting over the same people.
Well, and it's the other thing is particularly as it relates to your student body, then they think they have to get this 2 year of foreign language. Well, if Mr. Scanavino is the only foreign language teacher in your building, well, obviously everyone's going to flock to his class, and that's going to create quite a bottleneck of people wanting to get into his class. So
yeah, it really is. And like I said, that's why it's so important for me to really work to try to see if I can get a second one. I'll be honest with you, I'm actually fortunate because a lot of schools don't even have one. And so I'm fortunate that we're able to provide them with an opportunity to be able to get that foreign language. Like I said, it's not a requirement right now, other than if you're going to go off to college, depending on the college, there is 1 or 2 years. Typically, it's either 1 or 2 years of foreign language or some kind of an art. So if I'm in band, it typically counts similarly. But so it's trying to provide, our kids with the opportunities to get the things that they need to, so that there aren't limitations on what they can and can't do later on.
Sure. Very good. Very good. Mr. Wayne, again, where do folks go to keep up with all things Clinton High School?
Well, I think anytime you have questions, obviously feel free to contact the school, and we'll do everything we can answer there. Facebook page is always a good place to go as well, to try to get some information. But I'm a real big believer in having that human interaction and answering those questions there, instead of going online and having some interaction that maybe isn't getting all of the accurate answers.
Sure. We begin next Wednesday, and sports starts soon after that. We didn't even get to talk about sports this morning, but at any rate, we'll see you along the way, Mr. Wayne. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thanks for having me. That
is Mr. Jerry Wayne, principal of Clinton High School, our guest in studio. Network news on the way.
WHOW.
The Big 1520.